Hi, if you're new here, my name is Gabriella and I teach you a little bit about TOEFL. Today we're going to be talking about reading strategies. The first thing that I want you to do is to practice active reading. Say you have about 6 paragraphs in your reading. You need to identify the main idea in each one. Write the main idea in one sentence. It cannot be longer than that because then you start thinking about all the details that you want to include. It's a good exercise to get you into the practice of really understanding what each paragraph is saying. Now, while you're in the test, I don't want you to actively practice writing down a sentence for each paragraph, but I do want you to identify which paragraphs are going to be most important to understand the main idea of the reading. Jot down some notes. The main purpose of taking notes is for you to do that exercise of writing something down, and then it kind of stays in your memory when you start feeling comfortable doing this. Then I want you to identify the paragraphs that are most important and write down small notes for each one. Why? Because you will not have time to write down a sentence each paragraph that you run into in the test. Therefore, you need to identify the main paragraphs. After you have done this exercise, I want you to practice underlining or circling things that are important in the text. Now, the power of this strategy is that you spend a lot less time writing down things. As you go back, you say, this is important now. Granted, in the TOEFL IBT, you won't be able to do that. Jotting down one word is still good in your notes to remember that those paragraphs were important. This is just for practice and for you to get into the habit of active reading. Here are some short tips that I also recommend while you're reading. Practice circling the words that you don't understand. Instead of spending a lot of time looking at them and saying, hey, I don't really know this word, circle the word and move on. So you don't spend a lot of time, but later on, if you do need to understand it, you can find the circled word and figure out the meaning of the word by looking at its surrounding words in context. Now here's another tip. I want you to move as quickly as you can through the questions. Whatever question types are the easiest for you to figure out. For me personally, vocabulary words are the easiest. For example, what does this word mean in the text? I just have to go back maybe once or twice to check, or maybe even 0 times and pick the answer. Usually there are 2 in each reading section, and then I can focus on the questions that usually take me a lot more time, which are the except questions and the inferred questions. I always get stuck on those. Those seem to be the most difficult. These are some of the tips and strategies that have helped me get better grade in my reading section. I hope that they have helped you too, and I hope to see you around. Stay tuned if you're interested in TOEFL content or IELTS content, and if you happen to run into this video, send a comment on whatever you would like to see. I'm glad to be back and see you guys soon. Bye bye.
I said, hey.